Hello, fabulous entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 313, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes for today's episode over at tashcorbin.com/313. In today's episode, I answer the question, do you need a business plan? And I do get asked this question quite a bit, especially from people in the early stages of startup, because they usually come from one of two areas. Either they've been told over and over and over again they desperately need a business plan, but they find it really overwhelming and too hard, or they're like, I don't think I really need one. I'm just kind of learning and still getting myself set up. So is it okay if I just wing it? So I wanted us to come and have a little conversation today about whether or not you need a business plan. And I'm going to answer the question regardless of what stage of business that you're in. So whether you're very fresh to starting a business or you've been in business for multiple years, this will still be really helpful for you. Let's dive in. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. Okay, so in order to know whether you need a business plan or not, actually, we just need to know the number one job of a business plan. And the number one job of a business plan is that when you go to do work in your business, you know what to do. If you already know what to do, then chances are you already have some form of structure, regardless of whether you call it a business plan or not, that gives you that direction and guidance so that you can confidently know what to work on when you're working in your business. If you don't know what to do, you find yourself getting distracted by shiny objects, you find yourself running around in circles trying to work out what you need to do next, or you find yourself doing lots and lots of busy work, but not the important stuff that needs to move you forward, then for you, I think a business plan is a good idea. So a lot of people think of business plans as those big unwieldy documents that the bank makes you create before you get a loan, or that, if you've worked in a corporate business before, it's got like 6 departments worth of stuff and it's like almost feels like you're being micromanaged, or it's required for big unwieldy teams so that everyone can be across what other people are doing. But as entrepreneurs and often solo or very small business owners, we may not have actually experienced a great business plan that's for our type of business. So if you are scared of business planning or the idea of business planning overwhelms you, I just want to be on the same page that a business plan does not need to be a 45-page document. A business plan does not need to be for the next 5 years. A business plan can be very short-term and very straightforward. In fact, one of my most popular downloads is my quarterly business plan on a page. That is enough for most small businesses to know what you're working on and know what your focus is for the next 90 days. That's usually long-term enough for most businesses until you get to the point where you're pre-planning launches 6 months and 12 months in advance. So for most people, a business plan can be as simple as a 1-page document and a spreadsheet that's a week-by-week focus. Or it could be as simple as having a list of like your top 10 priorities for the next X period of time, and each day checking which one of those are you going to focus on for today. So a business plan does not need to be a large unwieldy document, and it does not need to be super long term. If you don't know what to do, or you find yourself jumping from thing to thing to thing without much direction or strategic focus when you're working in your business, then I would recommend that you do have a business plan. Here are the 3 main reasons that a business plan is really helpful. Number 1, you can have confidence that what you're doing is moving you towards your important goals. If you don't have a business plan, you can get very drawn into the short-term firefighting, very sexy but not necessarily strategic actions each day, and you find yourself not necessarily moving towards your goals quickly. So a business plan can be a way to ensure that what you're doing is working towards those goals. And so benefit and reason number 2 is that it keeps you focused as well. It stops a lot of that distraction and shiny objects because you have already pre-decided these are my goals and this is what's going to get me there. So it keeps you focused on those things and keeps you free from some of those distractions or procrastinator projects that are drawing you away and ultimately can lead to you not achieving your goals or slowing your progress towards your goals because you got caught up in shiny object land. Yeah. And then the third reason to have a great business plan is it's fabulous for identifying where you might need help. It's fabulous for communicating with your team. It's fabulous for communicating with your partner. It's fabulous for communicating with anyone else who needs to be involved, support you, or give you space to focus on that business stuff. It is a beautiful communication tool. And in those cases, often the simpler, the better. I have subcontractors in my business. I have team members in my business, and I have random project helper-outers in my business here and there. And every single one of those people, one of the first things they get access to is our business plan. The reason being is that it gives them a lot of context about different things, how busy I am at that point in time, what we are focused on at each point in time. And it really helps us to all be on the same page about my capacity, but as well about what my priorities and my focus are. It also helps them to see that, for example, if we bring someone on board for a particular project and we say we need it by here so that we can do it there, they can see why, right? I'm not just giving you a deadline that's a month before when we're actually going to do it. I'm giving you that deadline because in the month before I'm focused on these other things and I will not be able to get back to you. So it's a really great communication tool as well. It gets you closer to your goals. It keeps you focused and away from shiny objects, and it's a brilliant communication tool. So there are 3 really good reasons to get yourself a good business plan. Now, I want to just let you know a couple of things that I do to help people with business planning. And we're going to link to a previous podcast on how to do a business plan in the show notes of today's episode. So make sure you go to tashcorbin.com/313 because I wanted to keep this podcast episode focused on do you need one or not? And there's some reasons why I think you should, rather than how to business plan, but I've got one on how to create a business plan. So we'll link to that in the show notes of today's episode. But I also just wanted to let you know how I support people with business planning because it is something that I love doing. I'm passionate about it. I was in a formal business planning role in one of my corporate roles. I used to do consulting work on how to set up business plans, and I used to create business plans for businesses all over the place and government agencies. Like, it's something that I've done for a very long time and I get really excited about. And I love creating business plans that work for individuals. So I thought I would let you know how you can work with me on your business planning if that is something that you're interested in. So number 1 is every year I launch the Heart Centered Business Planner. So this is my 2022 planner. As you can see, it's like got Post-it notes in it and dog ears and tabs, and it gets very well used. This is what I do for my yearly plan. And the Heart Centered Business Planning system includes the yearly planner plus quarterly plans. And we have a Facebook community, we have monthly check-ins, and we have workshops to do our quarterly plans together every single quarter. Now, if you would like to be on the wait list for next year's planning system, you can register for that at tashcorbin.com/planner. And of course, we'll have the link to that in the show notes at tashcorbin.com/313. So every year I launch the planning system. Then each quarter, most quarters, not all of them, but most quarters, I run a free planning party right before the start of each quarter. So if you break the year into quarters, so that's just before the 1st of Jan, usually I run that one like in mid-December, planning for your first quarter of the next year. Then the April to June quarter, so I run that at the end of March. Then the July to September quarter, I've run that at the end of June. So that's going to be closest to this podcast episode. And then we do one at the end of September for the final quarter of the year. So I do run that free planning party each quarter. And if you would like to come along to the next one of those, I'll have the link to the next one. We'll keep it up to date at tashcorbin.com/313 with the show notes of today's episode. Plus, as I mentioned, I have that free downloadable of my quarterly plan on a page, and you can grab that at any time. So there are 3 ways that I can help you with getting that business plan in place. And as I said, we'll also link to the previous podcast episode on how to create a business plan, because I think it's a really important skill and asset that can help you be really focused in your business. And that focus and structure gives me so much freedom and creativity, because every day and every week, I know here's my key focus. And if I get that done, I can play with whatever I want. And so it makes sure that I get the stuff that's the focal point done. And if I've got spare time, then I can choose to get some other stuff done early. I can choose to batch up a bunch of podcasts if I want to. I can play with some creative projects. I can go and jump into Canva and make new sexy templates for another future something or other that I want to do. So for me, actually that structure and that focus really helps me to embrace creativity and innovation and play with new stuff, because I'm doing it without worrying, oh no, should I be doing something else? Or, oh, have I ticked off everything else that I need to be doing? I know everything's taken care of because it's all mapped out in my business plan, and I know when I need to be focused on each particular project or focal point. So do make sure you come and check those show notes at tashcorbin.com/313, because I reckon you'll get lots and lots of value out of those resources. And, most of the stuff that I've listed off is totally free. So let's get you planned. Let's get you focused. And until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Bye for now.
Would you like more tips, tools and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.